Welcome to Our Life the Way. How to build your home for almost free. With rising housing costs, increasing inflation rates, and people still recuperating from pandemic financial struggles, many struggle with how to make ends meet, or worse, how not to go further into debt every single month. People are searching for alternative ways to earn an income, save or cut costs, and frankly, just to live. Housing is one of the largest investments in life. Wouldn't it be fantastic if that cost alone could be minimized? What would that freedom mean for you? In just a few moments, we're going to show you how you can build your own home without the life debt sentence that comes with it 99% of the time. But first, please like and subscribe to shake up YouTube's algorithm, ultimately showing you more of what interests you. So just hit that subscribe button down below. So what we're going to show you today is some low-cost alternatives, where to source those, and where you should spend more. Building can become super expensive if you hire a contractor, you want a specific design, or if you have a tight deadline from the start of your build to when you want to be living in it. Also, there could be some other factors, but that's kind of the gist of it. To minimize expenses, build your own house. It seems kind of crazy to think about it since building a house can quickly add up. Now, we're not going to look at land cost in this video, but there are ways that you can minimize that as well. Now, we know this is possible because we did it. As you see in the photo, my partner Lars and myself, Angie, and our two dogs, Phoenix and Charlie, decided to put this to the test. Lars and I are in our 50s. We're minimalists. We have zero building experience, and we have a super small budget and an even smaller savings. Our desire is to recycle, reuse, and repurpose the materials for our projects. Now, we're going to talk about low-cost alternatives. This is how we built our home for almost free. So when looking at alternative uses for different products, you can save a bundle of cash. Your base foundation can be anything that keeps moisture and the critters out. When you use wood, metal, concrete, or a concrete-like substance. Think alternatives to your foundation, insulation, and even your framing. We chose pallets for the base of our foundation and flooring, and these are readily available wherever you go. And at this point, they are free. We also chose a mix of clay, water, and hay for our boundary insulation. When this hardens, it is rodent. It's a rodent deterrent, and it also helps keep that moisture out. For the rest of our insulation, we chose a fiberglass insulation for the interior of our flooring. On top, we chose to use an OSB plywood, 4 foot by 8 foot and 7/16 of an inch thick. We put paint on top, an interior paint. We used 2 coats, so that equaled out to 2 4-liter cans of paint. We chose a super economical can of paint as we're going to be using area rugs for the surface area. But our major source of creativity for our structure was the frame that we used for our structure. We used a 12 by 20 by 8 carport. Now, living in Atlantic, Canada, we are adapting this and modifying it to suit our surroundings. Now we're going to talk about where to source the materials that we chose, as well as some ideas for where you too can source out your almost free items. Now, full disclosure here, my honey, Lars, is much better at sniffing out deals than I am, but I'm getting there. We looked on Facebook in the general area, looked at Marketplace, YouTube, Kijiji. We asked our friends, family, neighbors. We went to a local hardware store. Kent is the name of the one in Atlantic, Canada, and that we have locally. We looked at different yard sale options. And don't discount community free days. There are even more places to source out low-cost options. You just have to think a little bit outside the box. We timed it perfectly when we moved and when we started our project, that there was a local garbage, like a large garbage day where people put out their garbage. And I use that term very loosely because one man's junk is another man's treasure. We picked up some incredible things for free that we needed for our project. And there was nothing wrong with them. And some things, just very minor issues that worked perfect for what we were looking for. Now, we want to talk about where you should spend a little bit more. There are some areas that you should spend more money and time on. This doesn't mean to overspend, but rather put more thought into what you're doing. That may be the more correct terminology. Is it crucial to have more space, which then equals more money? Do you need a specific design? Again, likely to end up more cash flowing out of your wallet. If something doesn't look perfect, will it ruin every moment of your life going forward? These are options that can affect the overall cost factor. But there are certain things that more attention and ultimately money should be considered. There's a unique relationship between time, cost, and quality. For wood in your project, if you go for used, often less costly, as you would imagine, make sure you use pieces that are not damaged, rotten, or that have too many faults in it, because that will affect the structural strength of your project, whatever that may be. Your roof. The money you spend on your roof material will save you in the long run. Spend a bit more to avoid the chance of a leak. And lastly, your security. Another critical area to spend extra care on is your security or stability. Spend a bit more so you don't end up flattened by the slightest wind gust. So now you got the goods. For a bit of a recap, we covered some low-cost alternatives, ideas on where to source lower-cost items, and what you should spend more time and effort on. That's a wrap for today. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel just with that button on the bottom of the screen to Our Life the Way.